Today, I shall be discussing solutions for some of the problems which you may come across while using the MRTB machine. Before we get into the problems, I will be giving brief information on all parts inside the MRTB machine. There are two petrol tanks above the control panel, inside of which one main controller is provided. Just below that, 5 toggle switches are provided. In between the two sensors, there is a glass tube. Opposite to that, there are 2 solenoid valves. And for petrol supply, there are 2 pipes from both the sides. Problem: how will you stop petrol leakage from the petrol pipe? In case you notice petrol leaking from the pipe, immediately tighten the hose clip screw with the help of a screwdriver which is mounted on the petrol pipe. Problem: how will you check the fuse of MRTB control panel power cable? Remove the fuse tray of the MRTB control panel power cable with the help of the screwdriver that is located below the power cable socket. After this, you can check the continuity of the fuse with a multimeter. For this, set the multimeter switch at resistance mode. With the help of the multimeter probe, check the continuity of the fuse. If the reading shows 0, it means that the fuse is okay. If the reading shows 1, then you need to change the fuse. The new fuse should be of 3 amperes rating. If petrol is not flowing in the petrol pipe from petrol tank, what checks should you perform? Please note, air bubble removing procedure is highlighted in answer. We will take the petrol pipe in hand and switch on the machine, as well as the petrol pipe switch simultaneously. Then we need to switch on the fuel test button, which is located above the digital panel. Immediately after pressing the fuel test button, the petrol supply will start and there will be an indication of low light on the digital panel. You will start noticing that the level of petrol is increasing in the petrol level tube located at the center of the machine. As soon as the petrol supply starts and petrol flow is seen in the petrol pipe, perform up and down movement of the petrol pipe so that there will be no air bubbles in the petrol flow system. Continue this movement till the high indication light on the digital panel gets switched on. After performing the above procedure once, if the air bubbles still exist in the petrol flow system, perform the same procedure 2 to 3 times after switching on the fuel test button. Once you notice that the high indication light on the digital panel is glowing, you should stop the up and down movement of the pipe and switch off. For some reason, if the machine is not receiving power, how do you set the cables? Check all the cables of the control panel. If any cable is loose, tighten it by hand. If needed, use the screwdriver also. Machine will now receive power. For some reason, if the machine is not starting, how do you check the continuity of the toggle switch? There is a toggle switch inside the control panel. With the help of a multimeter, we can check the continuity of the toggle switch. For this checking, set the multimeter on resistance mode. Check the continuity of the toggle switch with the help of a multimeter probe. If the multimeter reading indicates 0, then the toggle switch is okay. If the reading shows 1, then the toggle switch needs to be replaced. For this, you need to contact the Con Air service team. In case of the high and low level indication light is getting off, how do you fix the setting of the same? Inside the MRTB control panel, there is a controller located in between the 2 petrol tanks. Above it, at the left corner, 2 screws are provided for setting of the light sensor. In technical terms, those are called as trim pot. By mistake, if someone has maladjusted the setting, then the light indication will not be seen. Hence, you need to set the screw at the right or the left hand side so that the indication will start working again. If the rollers are found to be stuck or jammed, in the roller bench assembly, what action will you take? To ensure smooth working of rollers, greasing is required. 4 greasing nipples are provided at the sides of the roller. You can grease the rollers with the help of a greasing gun. If you come across variations in the mileage test readings, what checks do you need to perform? For this, you need to confirm that there is no air bubble in the petrol supply system. If MRTB display is not working, what checks should you perform? The following checks are required to be performed. Check the display voltage with the help of a multimeter. For this, keep the multimeter switch on AC mode. Connect the multimeter positive and negative probe at line neutral. It should display 230 AC volts. If there is no input, then you need to call the Con Air service team. If the petrol supply is not coming in the petrol pipe from the petrol tank, what checks should you perform? Check input at the solenoid valve which comes from display controller. This should be 12 volts DC. With the help of a multimeter, check the resistance of the solenoid coil. It should indicate 11 ohms. If you notice petrol leakage from the solenoid nozzle, then remove all petrol from the tank by loosening the hose clip and pull the petrol pipe out. You will notice petrol leakage in case the solenoid coil nozzle is cracked. To stop petrol leakage, you will require replacing the solenoid. For this, you can call Con Air service team for support. In case if you notice any problems with the display, like automatically getting on or off, what checks should you perform? Check the socket input voltage. It should indicate between 170 volts AC to 230 volts AC. In case the socket voltage indication is between 170 volts to 230 volts and still if the display is not working, call the Con Air service team for support. If you want to compare machine mileage test readings with road test readings, make use of the mileage bottle. It is very important and mandatory that this bottle should be calibrated. Make use of only the calibrated scientific measuring jar while using mileage testing bottle. Otherwise, you will never get correct readings. Please note, locally purchased mileage bottle and measuring jars are not calibrated and will show a lot of variations in the mileage test readings.